If you're over 60, there's a ticking time bomb inside your body, and 99% of seniors have no idea it's there. It's not cancer, it's not a heart attack. It's something far more common and far more silent. Type 2 diabetes. Right now, 1 in 4 people over 65 already have it, and half of the rest are walking toward it without realizing. Every 23 seconds, another adult in the US is diagnosed. By the time most seniors find out, the damage is already done. Nerves are frayed. Vision is fading. Kidneys are struggling. Here's the part nobody's telling you. Researchers have found that the #1 food on our list could cut your diabetes risk by a jaw-dropping 58%. Even if you're already in the danger zone, that's not a typo. 58%. No drugs, no expensive treatments, just food you can buy today, cook tonight, and start changing your future tomorrow. And yet, almost no one is eating it regularly. Which means millions are headed for avoidable blood sugar crashes, exhausting fatigue, and hospital bills they never saw coming. This isn't a slow slide, it's a cliff, and you only see it once you're falling. Today we're ripping back the curtain. We'll count down the 5 most powerful science-proven foods to protect your blood sugar after 60. We'll break down the studies, the numbers, and the why and how to put these foods to work, starting with your next meal. The information in this video is backed by real science. We spent hours digging through peer-reviewed research, and every single reference is linked in the description below. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, what food do you think makes the biggest difference? Let's start with number 5, the humble lentil. The humble lentil is a simple food that often gets overlooked in favor of more glamorous health trends. But if you want steady blood sugar, lentils are like having a patient traffic cop in your bloodstream. They slow everything down. Lentils are packed with soluble fiber which dissolves in water to form a gel-like substance in your gut. This slows the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates, meaning your blood sugar rises more gradually instead of spiking sharply after a meal. That's a big deal for diabetes prevention because repeated spikes followed by crashes push your body toward insulin resistance over time. Imagine your body as a busy highway during rush hour. Without that traffic cop, cars, representing glucose molecules, pile up, causing chaos and backups. But with lentils on duty, traffic flows smoothly, preventing those dangerous pile-ups that lead to long-term damage. In a Canadian study published in the Journal of Nutrition, researchers replaced half the starchy carbs in people's meals with lentils and found post-meal blood sugar dropped by 20% compared to eating the starchy carbs alone. That's without any medication, just swapping part of a meal for lentils. This study involved participants who were already at risk for diabetes, showing how even small changes can yield significant results. The researchers monitored blood glucose levels meticulously, using continuous glucose monitors to track fluctuations over several hours post-meal. What they discovered was not just a reduction in peaks, but also a stabilization that lasted longer, helping participants feel more energized throughout the day. What makes lentils even more powerful is their resistant starch content. Resistant starch is a special type of carbohydrate that resists digestion in the small intestine and instead feeds the beneficial bacteria in your colon. These bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate that improve insulin sensitivity. Think of resistant starch as a slow-burning fuel that keeps your metabolism balanced rather than flooding it with sugar all at once. This process, known as fermentation in the gut, not only aids in blood sugar control, but also supports overall gut health, which is increasingly linked to metabolic disorders like diabetes. Studies have shown that diets high in resistant starch can lead to increased production of these fatty acids, which then travel through the bloodstream to influence liver function and muscle cells, enhancing their ability to uptake glucose efficiently. Lentils also have a low glycemic index, typically between 21 and 29, which is considered very low for a carbohydrate source. That means they don't just prevent big spikes, they keep your blood sugar steady for hours. This is why people who eat lentils regularly often feel full and energized instead of sluggish after a meal. The glycemic index measures how quickly a food raises blood sugar, and lentils' low score comes from their fiber and protein combo, which acts as a natural buffer. Preparing. Lentils for maximum diabetes. Fighting power is easy but requires a little attention to detail. First, soak them for at least 2 to 4 hours before cooking, which not only reduces cooking time, but also helps lower compounds called phytates that can slightly reduce mineral absorption. Phytates are natural substances in many plant foods that bind to minerals like iron and zinc, but soaking breaks them down, making the nutrients more bioavailable. After soaking, rinse them well and cook them gently until tender but not mushy. Overcooking can break down more of the resistant starch, slightly reducing their blood sugar benefits. Aim for a simmer rather than a boil to preserve the structure. Adding herbs and spices like turmeric, cumin, and garlic doesn't just improve flavor. Turmeric's active compound, curcumin, has been shown in studies to improve insulin function, giving you a double benefit. Curcumin enhances the activity of enzymes involved in glucose metabolism and has anti-inflammatory properties that complement the lentils' effects. You can also mix lentils into salads, soups, or even blend them into patties for a diabetic-friendly burger alternative. For instance, try making lentil soup with vegetables like carrots, celery, and onions, seasoned with bay leaves and thyme, for a hearty meal that warms you from the inside while keeping your blood sugar in check. To get the best results, aim for about a half cup of cooked lentils 3 to 4 times a week. This is the amount often used in studies to see meaningful improvements in blood sugar control. If you've never eaten lentils regularly, start with small amounts and increase gradually to avoid digestive discomfort. Your gut bacteria will adjust over time, and you'll be giving them exactly the kind of fuel they thrive on. Many people report that after a week or two, any initial bloating subsides as the microbiome adapts. Incorporating lentils isn't just about prevention. For those already managing prediabetes, they can be a game changer in daily management, reducing the need for stricter dietary restrictions elsewhere. Now that we've covered lentils, let's move to a food that works on your blood sugar in a completely different way. Number 4, walnuts. Walnuts might look like tiny brain-shaped snacks, but when it comes to protecting your blood sugar and preventing diabetes after 60, they're nutritional powerhouses. These little nuts are loaded with polyunsaturated fats, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 that helps reduce inflammation and improve the way your body responds to insulin. Inflammation is a big player in type 2 diabetes because it damages cells and makes them less sensitive to insulin, forcing your pancreas to pump out more of it. Over time, that stress can wear your system down. By lowering inflammation, walnuts help break this dangerous cycle. Picture inflammation as a smoldering fire in your tissues. Walnuts act like a gentle rain, dousing the flames and allowing your body's natural repair mechanisms to kick in. This anti-inflammatory effect is mediated through pathways that inhibit pro-inflammatory cytokines, molecules that signal immune responses but can go haywire in chronic conditions. In a 2018 study published in Diabetes Care, researchers followed over 34,000 women and found that those who ate walnuts at least 1 to 3 times per week had a 13% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to those who rarely ate them. This large cohort study adjusted for factors like age, BMI, and physical activity, ensuring the results were attributable to walnut consumption. And it wasn't just about the healthy fats. Walnuts also contain magnesium, which plays a crucial role in glucose metabolism. People with higher magnesium intake tend to have better blood sugar control, and magnesium deficiency is surprisingly common in older adults due to reduced absorption and certain medications. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions, including those that regulate insulin secretion and action. What's fascinating about walnuts is that they can help with weight control. Even though they're calorie-dense, the fiber, protein, and healthy fat combination increases satiety, meaning you feel fuller for longer. This is important because excess body fat, especially around the waist, is one of the strongest predictors of type 2 diabetes. Visceral fat releases fatty acids that interfere with insulin signaling, but walnuts' satiating properties can curb overeating, indirectly supporting weight management. A controlled trial in the Journal of Nutrition found that when overweight adults added 30 grams of walnuts daily to their diet, they didn't gain weight even without strict calorie counting, and their insulin sensitivity improved. Researchers believe this is because walnuts not only help control appetite, but also positively influence the gut microbiome, which in turn impacts blood sugar regulation. The nut's prebiotic fibers nourish beneficial bacteria, leading to a more diverse microbiome associated with better metabolic health. To get the maximum benefits from walnuts, you want them as close to their natural form as possible. That means raw or dry roasted, without added sugars, salt, or oils. Salted.